to 20 for 20. My name is Kathleen Draper with the Elks National Foundation. Today, I'm joined by Santiago Alvillar, a 2020 Top 20 Most Valuable Student Scholar sponsored by Montebello, California, Lodge number 2051. Santiago was the top winner and he received $50,000 to attend Stanford University this fall. Thank you so much for joining us today, Santiago.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, and first we'll just have you kind of introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Yeah, okay. So, hi, you guys. My name is Santiago Alvillar. I'm from East LA, California, in the outskirts of East LA, so in like a city called El Monte. Yeah,
And congratulations on winning the top award again.
thank
Very
you.
exciting. And where are you planning on going to school and what will you study?
I'm planning to enroll at Stanford University next year, class of 2024, majoring in engineering physics and specializing in energy alternatives.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah,
And how did you choose that field of study?
I mean, I have no idea. But basically, I mean, I'm honestly like a huge STEM nerd. And I knew that I wanted to do some sort of engineering, but I also really liked physics and math at the same time. Engineering physics is sort of a combination of all of that, and it sort of like it's an interdisciplinary major, so you get a little bit of everything, and I love that part. So yeah.
That's awesome. And what do you want to do with that in the long run?
I mean, in the long run, I'd like to attend some graduate programs, become an environmental engineer. That's why I'm focusing on energy alternatives, sort of like promote sustainable methods throughout our city and community and world. Yeah.
That's really cool. And obviously, part of being an Elks Scholar is being really dedicated to service. So, could you tell us what service means to you?
Service, I guess, for me is giving back to the community that sort of cultivated you and like creating this environment that sort of supports other students like us who are sort of underrepresented and under-resourced. Yeah.
And so, as our top scholar, you are obviously extremely accomplished. But what would you say is your proudest accomplishment?
Graduating from high school, my parents, I guess, my brothers and I are the first people in our entire lineage to receive a formal education.
Wow.
So jumping from like no school at all to like Stanford University is like a really awesome thing to have. My dad doesn't know, like my dad is like illiterate, I guess, so he doesn't know how to read or write. And my mom went to school up to sixth grade. So like none of us had really the sort of information we needed to get like to even graduate high school. And now I'm sort of like right here, and it's an amazing thing to do, to have.
That is a huge achievement, and that's really exciting. And to be able to go on to Stanford is just amazing. So I'm really excited for you with that. And what is being an Elks Scholar going to help you do?
I I guess for like attending Stanford is like obviously one of the biggest goals that I had. Because of the Elks scholarship, I'm sort of feel more comfortable attending the university without sort of taking loans away or having the sort of like pressure of having a economic sort of foundation. A lot of times students go into Stanford and like a lot of them are rich and stuff like that. And I would have, by attending Stanford over like a sort of local state college, I would have had the worry of like worrying about what type of, I mean, a lot of the trivial things in life at like college, maybe like saving up money and stuff like that for my next textbook. But like because of the out scholarship, I sort of like that worry is away. It like vanished. So I guess now that I don't have to focus on that area, I could just focus on like my academic studies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's a huge weight off your shoulders. So that's really exciting that you'll be able to kind of focus solely on academics and achieve even more than you already have. What was your favorite part of the virtual Top 20 Leadership Weekend?
I really liked getting to know everyone. It would have obviously been better if it was in person, but like current circumstances make that impossible. But like knowing that other people have been going through the same struggles and like have the same ambitions to change the world and to create sort of like uphold community service. That was really an amazing thing to witness, and like the sort of our interactions that we had with one another. That was like wonderful.
Yeah, this was my first leadership weekend with the ENF because I started with the foundation back in August and I was so excited. So I was, of course, devastated with COVID and having to go virtual with that. But hands down, it was the best part of my quarantine to be able to meet all of you and hear your stories. And you guys just give so much hope to everyone. And it's just amazing. It was really fun for me as a staff member to
Yeah.
be a part of it. So I can't even imagine how great it was for scholars. And what were you doing when you found out that you were actually part of the top 20?
um, it's hard to remember, but I think I was probably laying in bed, sort of sleeping. Yeah. After we went to quarantine, sort of like it was an unfortunate thing to have for my senior year, but this sort of relief of attending the classes and stuff like that and making it like transition into like my own pace of like learning and stuff like that, that sort of was an oof. So I at the beginning of quarantine I would sort of like sleep at the beginning, like in the early day, and
Yeah.
then like in the evening I would just like get to work and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. And we played your phone call when Colleen called you to let you know you were a top winner. So what were you doing when you received that phone call? And what was that like to when Colleen called you?
I remember I think I was in like right here in my parents' garage. Um I think I just got out of like my mathematics lecture for a dual enrollment at a college.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like so drained because like even though math is one of my favorite subjects, it's just like really draining to the point where like I guess it's differential equations for engineers, so it's sort of like advanced for other people.
Mhm.
And so like it's hard for me. But I remember like getting a call from an unknown number, and I knew that I had to like sort of like I wasn't sure what was happening, but when I heard the like sort of the I guess the announcement to say that this was going to be recorded, I was like, oh, I don't want to get my hopes up, but I'm pretty sure this is good news. But yeah, afterwards, I mean, when I left my garage and like I hung up the phone, I was like jumping up and down, and I was like, wait a minute, yeah.
That is so exciting. I don't even know what I would do if I got news like that. That's really amazing. And, probably gave you a little bit of positive energy after a draining math class too. So,
Yeah.
and what makes you an Elk scholar?
I mean, I guess for a lot of us, there's sort of like single quality that sort of puts us all together, and it's the quality of like making sure to give back to our community and to like sort of taking advantage of the resources that are given to us, but at the same time giving back whenever we can, even as like students or like high school seniors that sort of like haven't realized the extent of what the world is. But we do know that like giving back is one of our biggest priorities, and especially to like underserved and under-researched communities and stuff like that. So like having that idea and mentality at such a young age, that's sort of like an awesome thing to have, especially that I've noticed within the Elk Scholars community.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a very service minded community, and especially with the service trips, there are so many opportunities to get involved as an Elks scholar, too. And obviously, service is something you're really passionate about, but what is something that you might be passionate about outside of academics and service?
Yeah, so my family is sort of indigenous. So we come from southern Mexico. Um, we have a deep appreciation for like herbs and native plants and stuff like that. So I've always been a huge botany guy. So like I read and study plants. I have a little book called Around the World in 90 Trees or something like that, which basically explains each tree and each area of the world. That's amazing. So yeah, I guess the biggest passion is like gardening and stuff like that. Herbs and like native plants to southern Mexico. So we sort of like we don't import it because I'm pretty sure that's illegal. But we sort of like we just like cultivate some herbs that we use for like to eat for ourselves. So it's like I guess we have like a small nursery in our backyard. Yeah, so that's cool.
That is really cool. I have a few plants here, but I am not on the same level as you. But that's really cool that you're really passionate about that. And it sounds like you have a nice yard space where you can come outside and be outside with the plants and trees and your garden, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I bet in California it's probably really nice all year round to be able to do
Yeah, yeah.
that, unlike
The warm
Chicago.
weather.
So you kind of skip all that winter phase that we get here.
It kind
Um,
of helps.
yeah. If you could say anything to the Elks, what would you say?
First and foremost, thank you. It's like at surface level, you're helping a single student attend like such an elite university. But if you really dig into it, it's sort of a representation. You're helping me sort of make strides within my family and future generations that really are indescribable. Um, you've helped me create a sort of, for the Elks National Foundation, you've helped me create a sort of ripple effect, and I'm sure it's going to have a positive impact, not only in my family, but within my community. And I'm extremely thankful for that.
Very well said. Well, thank you so much, Santiago. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in. If you liked the show, hit the like button below and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for helping us build stronger communities and connecting with the hashtag Elks family. See you next time.